So I'm sure everybody has heard that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the new villain in the next Avengers film. And I'm sure that everybody has kind of mixed feelings. A lot of people are really excited, and some people are basically wondering how this is all going to work out. So I, like many people, am conflicted too. I think on the one hand, it's great to see a familiar character return. And of course, that's why they did it. It is to have mass appeal. But on the other hand, it is going to be, this sort of, new aspect that we're going to have to get used to because we're going to be seeing Iron Man the whole time, in a sense. Or maybe I'm just saying that now. But I do think that the Russo brothers can really pull off, I think, a great film because they've been doing this before. And although I do have, um, you know, these sort of like concerns about, Tony Stark returning, I think these directors, they know what they're doing. I think the people who are choosing Tony Stark, or rather Robert Downey Jr., we don't know if he's exactly going to be called Tony Stark, but I think that if you recall, this may get into spoiler territory, but then again, it talks about Deadpool, and Deadpool is quite popular right now. I think it hit about, it's close to about $1 billion right now at the box office. But if you recall, Chris Evans was Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine. So there's a chance that in the next Avengers film, what we're going to have is this new sort of multiverse that does incorporate older characters from another dimension, from another timeline, basically. And if he came from another multiverse, Iron Man, Tony Stark, um, you know, would be Doctor Doom if he didn't go through a character arc. Because you know how, remember in the first one, he was basically very insufferable, right? I mean, he was someone that could have been this avarice, this person filled with greed and filled with just this avarice and had all the power because of his smarts, because of his technology. And yet he goes through this character arc. That's the Tony Stark that we know. But I guess in this multiverse, Tony Stark um, would never have gone through a character arc, and he would have just become Doctor Doom. But I think the theory I think on my end that makes a lot of sense would be it just well, first it depends on how the movie is created and but I would say that we could see it could be like this. I think what's going to happen is that um, because to start, no movie franchise has ever brought back an older beloved character and then completely recast the actor into some new character. But since this is the multiverse, it's possible that Doctor Doom could be a variant of Tony Stark, or that Tony Stark from the past could be born into the Von Doom family and become Doctor Doom himself. So because there's always this timeline where Tony Stark, and a whole bunch of other characters could be born. He could have been born in the Von Doom family. What I think is that if we don't see Doctor Doom's face, which is highly unlikely, otherwise why would it matter so much that it was Robert Downey Jr.? Mads Mikkelsen could have played the new villain, and it wouldn't matter. But Doctor Doom could actually be a character on all his own, but just be using Tony Stark's face. So, in other words, it may not even be any kind of Tony Stark, only some body or manifestation. That's basically my theory. It's that Doctor Doom is using his body or some manifestation of him that resembles Tony Stark um, when Doctor Doom is in human form. Because if Doctor Doom is basically a god, um, you know, he could probably take on any human form, right? And so that would mean that if he wanted to be Stark, then he could be Tony Stark. It can be a little bit confusing, but because we may not know who Doctor Doom actually might be, we might find out until not until the Avengers Secret Wars. He could be using a kind of a puppet in his you know while he's trying to go about his plans, right? Um, and and of course, because we have this thing about the anchor beings, that would mean that Tony Stark, after Infinity Wars, or rather after Endgame, basically his being was scooped up by Doctor Doom, and then he became some kind of puppet for him. That's what I think. But I think that Iron Man, it would be strange if they do this, but I think Iron Man might return to fight Doctor Doom. But it won't be in the way that you think. He will fight Doctor Doom in a different form. Like Doctor Doom will be in a different form. He'll be in his God form, and then Tony Stark, that is from a different timeline, who has no idea about the Avengers, will become Iron Man, will take on the Iron Man suit and then fight Doctor. I mean, that's what I think. I may be wrong. I think a lot of people are going to be wrong about their theories, but that's what I think, and I think that it's going to be quite interesting. But other than that, let me know what you think. What's the theory here? What do people think about Doctor Doom and Iron Man? What are their connections? Again, I think that he's basically just using him as a puppet, his body as a puppet. But then Tony Stark from another verse is going to be coming to become Iron Man again, but with no prior knowledge of Infinity Wars, or no prior experience ever meeting the Avengers. So, what do you think? Let me know, and let's talk about this. So, but thank you, and have a good day.